I had an interesting question on YouTube, and I haven't answered it yet. So the question is, 99% of artists create art to become famous and rich. What is your goal? Art for art's sake? I think that's why you're continuing despite the lack of views. Okay, there are a lot of interesting things inside. I think it's relevant for many people that are creating something, not only art, but also making their own business or whatever. And it's often linked to this idea of success or fame, how we define it in the society nowadays. So we look at the numbers on social media, or we look at things like presence in TV, radio, newspaper, radio, not so relevant anymore, but you know what I mean. So all these kinds of portals that define success in society, or working in a famous art institution that is financed by the government, those kinds of things. So first of all these kinds of definitions about success, I see very different. You mentioned in your question that I'm doing this despite the lack of views. This whole views thing and likes thing, this is a very ripped game. It is not an honest game at all. So when you see a lot of views and a lot of comments and a lot of likes, in many cases they are manipulated. So they have been bought, or there's a lot of companies who offer this stuff. I've never done these kinds of things because I was never focusing on the numbers, even though they're important to be seen, like to have exposure. But also I want things to be authentic and natural. I want to reach real people. I don't want to have a blow-up fake image or something. I know that for many people, image is super important. Image over authenticity, image over competence, image over content, just to impress the friends, the family, first of all, some people around. And then after this, maybe they think of, okay, can I live from that? Or what do I want to make out of this? The thing is with this idea of fame and exposure, they are planned by big teams, marketing teams, and a lot of money. So these things don't come just like that. They're not just coming from talent. There's a lot of talented people that are never been heard or seen by anyone. So this is a train that I was not even trying to jump on, because I know that it feels empty inside. Even if you have all this, and you have the big numbers and stuff, but it's not real, it will feel empty. So I don't even see the lack of those numbers as anything bad. And also, come on, this whole thing went so far out of proportions. So I see sometimes people that have like hundreds of thousands of views or followers, and then someone is writing, oh, I wish this artist had more exposure. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, when you have a room full of 200 people in a concert, this is already a pretty decent concert. If you have 1,000 or 2,000, this is already a very big concert. But how I define success for myself, for me, success means that I do what I love, that I'm passionate about it, and I'm able to live from this. When I started with music, and it was a long time ago when I started to learn music as a child already, I was just driven by this passion to create. It just came out of me. And in order to be able to transfer my visions that I had in my head into reality, to manifest them, I needed to learn the skills. So this was my drive. But at some point, of course, as an adult, you ask your question, how do you earn your money? My goal was always that I'm able to live from my passion. I don't need to sell my soul to the devil. I don't need to compromise my dignity, which is very important for me. I can really make a living from the things that I love, that I'm really passionate about. And I don't need to do a side job or anything. I don't need to beg for money from the government. But of course, it's continuous work. It's not just something that it's there and then it's there. I need to keep it up. It's maintenance. So I need to be every moment of my life dedicated to this. And this just so that I can be in this flow of my passion, because nowadays when you create something and you put it out, there's a lot of noise and senseless stuff that also gets a lot of attention. So in the times of social media, which is amazing that our artist has those tools and can put all the stuff out, but it also means you need to be all the time ahead of time, and you need to be present all the time. So this idea of famous, it's not something that was ever interesting me, but more, I know in order to make my art and to make a living from it, I need to be visible. So visibility is very important, and of course, I also want to share these visions with people, and I want to see what effect does it have on people? What can I change in the world? Hopefully I can contribute something good to this world and at least change the energy or make people feel better with themselves. When I teach singing, for example, I can see how people are happier, more fulfilled, more with themselves when they get out of the lessons. So this is already a huge reward. So something that I would not continue to do if it wasn't like that. I want to see the people improve and feel better holistically. There's no reason for me to do anything just only for money or for survival or especially if I have to compromise a lot of things. This also brings me again to this question of famous and rich, because when I started my music path, I had a couple of opportunities that I could ride on this train of commercial music, commercial fame, TV invitations to talk shows, to those competition shows. I had concrete invitations to those shows already in the late 90s and the beginning of the 2000s, when all this started, this reality stuff. It just started in TV, shows like Star Search and blah, blah. And I did one thing with a song that I wrote myself, but all the others I rejected. And I rejected them for the reason that they demanded from me to compromise my dignity in a very harsh way. And it just felt so wrong in my gut that this idea of now becoming successful, famous, visible in Germany was not nearly as interesting as getting back into my peace, like my peace of mind, because the moment I got those offers, they kind of took me out of balance when I was imagining to go into those. I give you an example. When I was the beginning of the 2000s, there was a label coming to me, and they were looking for new talents, and they already had a couple of girl bands out, and they wanted to have also solo artists. And this was the time when Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears were very big, and so and so. And I went to this label meeting. I played some demos of my songs, my self-written songs. I had some people that recorded them with me in this time. And, they were very interested. They said, you're the first one that can really sing, and we are very happy to work with you. And then they said, yeah, but your voice, it sounds too old. Like you sound like a 30-year-old. And this time I was 18. Too adult. Can't you try something a bit more light and, not childish, but, more sexy and high-pitched and so. And they gave me, as an example, Britney Spears and Madonna also. So they sent me back and said, just record a couple of demos of those Britney Spears and Madonna covers and then come back. I was open to it. I went home and I started trying those songs, practicing, like Virgin and no and something. And it just felt so wrong. It's not that I would not sing those songs. I have no problem to make some covers. As you can see on my channel, I'm doing a lot of covers, but I do them in my own way. It's just this being forced or pressed into an identity, into a character that I'm not. And already this question, it was uncomfortable. I just felt so strongly in those 3 days that I tried to fulfill this task that I just want to be myself. I want to be authentic. I just want to express myself the way that I am. I want to do the music that I want to do. If I don't do this, something inside of me is dying. I feel my soul crumbling. I just can't. I cannot shape myself for myself into something just for the expectation of a label, or like when it's not resonating with me. I like challenges. Yeah, someone can come and say, do this or that, or do this different, or you could, anything that can bring that what is inside of me even more out, that I can become more confident, more authentic with it, and more direct, more unfiltered, more all those things. Give them to me. I'm really, really eager to learn and I know that there's a lot of things that can be done still. But this intention that was behind this particular label, for example, and I think this is happening in many of those contexts, it just felt so wrong. So after 3 days, I was just getting back to her and I was saying, that's not me. I'm not doing this. Like either I'm myself or like not, but they had a particular image in their mind. Yeah, and there are a couple of those examples, like also with a girl band that I was supposed to join, but then they had the idea that we are all in one house and they are making a reality show out of it and they're putting a camera 24/7 and we're like, those kinds of shows. And I was like, no way. I don't want to be observed in my everyday life. Like I want to be the one that can, that has control over what is getting out, and just already the imagination to be trapped in a place with strangers, some girls, and there's cameras all over the place the whole day, and I don't know what situations they're going to create, was so off for me. So so I also rejected this and a couple of other things. There was a show where they were asking me to judge other singers, but then I was supposed to be the character, like to take the role of the one that is bashing the others when they cannot sing. And I was saying to the producer, this is totally not me. I can be honest to people, but I'm not going to sit there just for the sake of excitement of the audience, now to humiliate other singers. And this was all in Germany. All these things, all these offers, and I'm pretty sure if I would have agreed to this and I would have humiliated myself and I would have gone down this road and I would have said, yes, 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 like a good girl to all these offers, I would have become famous in the definition of the society, but very miserable. And I would have not been myself anymore. And so I said no to them. And I don't regret it a bit, because I chose a path that is very authentic, that is very aligned with myself and with my passions, and I can do all the things that I love to do. If I want to go back on stage, I can do it. But in the moment, I don't want to. I've been a lot on stage in the past. The conditions have to be right also for me in the moment. I love to do my music online, my videos. I have an amazing artistic director that knows how to strategize and to plan and how to build those kinds of paths, which I'm very lucky, because in this constellation, I don't need to compromise my dignity. I don't need to be something that I'm not. I can be my authentic self. I can work on that even more. I'm challenged to bring out more things. So what do I want more? This is the best conditions I could have. So I'm not missing any of that you're suggesting in the comment, rich and famous. I don't feel that I'm doing a compromise. I'm just walking my path aligned with my choices and what I feel is right and what fits, what suits me the best. And that's it. And I have the best support on this. I don't need a big team in the moment, which is also great. I work with my artistic director, 2-3 people that are project-wise with me. I'm really happy about my choices and how things go. And I know that the numbers on my YouTube don't look big, but it's also dependent on me to some extent. If I play the game differently, if I now put out every week a video, the numbers would grow much faster, but it's not my priority in that way now to fill the channel. I know how the game works, but I make my decisions according to what is aligned with me and with my inner calling. It sounds cliche, but that's how it is. I hope this answered your question. So if I would summarize it in very short words, fame and rich, I have nothing against it. But this is not my motivation. My motivation is that the vision that I have inside, the things that I feel that I want to express through art, that I'm able to manifest them, put them out, share them with people, and that I can live from that I don't need to make compromises in my life and spend my time of my precious life with things that don't excite me, that I don't love. So this is a summary. You can gladly ask more questions. Anyone who thinks about these topics, just comment anywhere on social media, on Instagram or on YouTube. And it may take a while, like with this one, it took me a while until I responded to it. So thanks for your patience again. But eventually I will respond to the questions as long as they make sense. Okay, so bye-bye.